Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another end of the week Sabbath class. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel, and as always, it's an honor and privilege to come before you to give you another uplifting and edifying lesson with hopes in regards to teaching you something new that you didn't know yesterday. But to bring our brothers and sisters back into the fold to help teach them how to serve Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai with a joyful spirit and a joyful heart. And today is no different. Before we get started, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being his son, who the world calls Christ in the Paleo Hebrew. So we appreciate everybody tuning in, and Lord willing, those who will tune in. And if you're watching right now, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this content. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't subscribed already, go ahead and do that as well. But tonight's mighty class is going to be taught by the mighty brother Ezekiel. So I'm going to pass it off to him. And let's get it.
Appreciate that, brother. All right. Shalom, Israel. Glad everybody can tune in on the class. Tonight's class is going to be called Capture, Deactivate, and Realign. Capture, Deactivate, and Realign. And as we all know, that's what happened to us. We were captured, we were deactivated, and we were realigned. We were captured, deactivated, and realigned. We're going to start it off with, well, before I said it, like I said, we were captured, deactivated, and realigned in a negative way by our enemy. You know, that has happened. And what we're trying to do right now is capture, deactivate, and realign again. That's what we as repentant Israelites that going out to the highways and byways teaching. That's what we're trying to do, also in a positive way. It has been done in a negative way, and we are trying to do it a second time in a positive way. But we're going to start off with Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. Can you hear me okay?
You sound a little choppy.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's me. Hey, Israel, if you're watching and it sounds choppy, put a 1 in the comment section. If it sounds choppy to you, put a 1 in the comment section. If it's good, we'll continue on. Put a 1 in the chat if it's choppy. If not, yeah, it sounds a little choppy, King.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to get the other phone.
All right. Bear with us, Israel, for a second. And just going back to what the brother was saying, the class is called, let me put it back on the screen, Capture, Deactivate, and Realign. So what are going to go into today? This class is going into how our enemies have captured us, deactivated us from being a righteous people, and realigned us to thinking with their mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because today we are trying to capture our people's minds and deactivate them from the ways of this world to realign them to be in righteousness with the Lord. Because we are so far off, we can't even imagine ourselves in a rulership position or a leadership position. So this is what we aim to do with this class, is to wake our brothers and sisters up and show them how we must be, how we have to capture our people, capture their minds. All right, bear with me right quick, Israel. Yeah, was in for a second. But we got to capture the mindset of our people today, bring them out of the ways of the world by deactivating that mindset and realigning them with the focus on serving Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, coming back to righteousness, coming back to who we are as a people, who we were designed and created to be, our royalty, our royal priesthood. But right now, as we stand in this society, we are anything but that. We want to be African Americans. We want to be Negroes, Blacks, Coloreds, Latinos, Hispanics, Indians, savages. We want to be all of those things. But those things mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we are so far gone left when it comes down to knowing our God and to being able to serve him. And because we don't know who we are, this is the reason why we're in the condition we're in. Wondering why is it that we can never get ahead? Why is it when we take one step forward, we're taking 3 steps backwards? You know, why is it that our people don't have any love toward one another? There's no unity. You know, we don't have a common ground on anything except hatred toward one another. You know, even when our people think that they have love toward one another, they actually still show hatred toward one another. But we're going to get into some things, some different topics, videos to help show why these things happen and how we must change to make change, if that makes sense to you. Let me see if the brother back. You good, King?
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, man. Having technical difficulties.
Hey, you know how Esau do.
Okay. We're gonna start off the top again. Tonight's class, sorry about that, Israel, but tonight's class is called Capture, Deactivate, and Realign. Like I was saying, that's what happened to us. We were captured, we were deactivated, and we were realigned. By us coming into the truth, we know what our mission is as men of Israel. Right now, our mission is to capture, deactivate, and realign our brothers and sisters to get them where they should be, on the path they should be, not on the path that they are going. Because a lot of things that they are doing that they have been taught not the right way, and they have been taught the right thing. So we're gonna start the class off with Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
All right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1, and it reads, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth."
Right. So we know if we had a did his commandments, that we would have been set on high above all people on the face of the earth. But let's get 28 and 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15, and it reads, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee."
So if we didn't do what the Most High commanded us to do, we would be cursed, and those curses would come upon us and overtake us. And as y'all all know, we didn't keep his commandment, and we were cursed. Um, and that's going into the part of the class speaking about capture. The first part, capture. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 11 through 12.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 11, and it reads, Then shalt thou say unto them, Salakia Israel, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law, and ye have done worse than your fathers, for behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that
So,
they may not hearken unto me.
right. So the Most High said we have done worse than our fathers. Worse than our father. And we all know that they were doing terrible. our fathers were. But he said, we have done worse than our fathers. And like we said in Deuteronomy 28:15, he said, if you don't keep his commandments, that the curse was going to come upon us. But I'm going to give you one of the curses that I want to get into, uh, dealing with us being captured. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 49.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 49. And it reads, let me blow this up a little bit.
Okay.
It reads, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So the Lord is going to bring a nation against us from far. Why? Because we were disobedient.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, no show favor to the young.
As swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. But
Hello?
let's get up. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And then on verse Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. Let me get that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other.
Okay,
And
stop it
there,
right there. Stop it right there. Let's play. It says shall scatter you from among. I'm sorry. It said, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other. Play that first video for me.
Is about the transatlantic slave trade, and it offers an in-depth look at the countries that received the most African slaves. The transatlantic slave trade was one of the most devastating and dehumanizing periods in human history. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, millions of Africans were forcibly taken from their homelands and transported across the Atlantic Ocean to work as slaves in the Americas. This massive and brutal system of forced labor formed the backbone of the economies in the New World, creating lasting social, cultural, and economic impacts that can still be felt today. In this video, we will delve into the countries that received the largest numbers of enslaved Africans, offering a comprehensive look at the scale and legacy of this tragic period.
Let's pause right fast.
Number one.
Like he said, into the countries. So don't think that we were just shipped to the United States. The scripture said we would be scattered amongst the nations throughout the four corners of the earth. So we were not just shipped here. Go ahead and play it.
Brazil. The Portuguese colony of Brazil was the largest importer of African slaves during the transatlantic slave trade, receiving around 4 to 5 million enslaved Africans, which constituted about 40% of the total number. The first African slaves arrived in Brazil in the early 16th century, and the slave trade continued until it was officially abolished in 1888. The enslaved Africans in Brazil were primarily used in the production of sugar, coffee, and gold. The harsh conditions and brutal treatment led to a high mortality rate among the enslaved population. Many slaves resisted their captors through revolts, the formation of maroon communities, and the preservation of their cultural traditions. The legacy of the African slave trade in Brazil is evident in the country's diverse population, which includes a large Afro-Brazilian community. Elements of African culture, such as religion, music, and cuisine, have also left a lasting impact on Brazilian society. Number two, British Caribbean colonies. The British Caribbean colonies including Jamaica, Barbados, and the Leeward Islands, were another significant destination for enslaved Africans, receiving an estimated 2.5 million people. The British established their first Caribbean colony in Barbados in 1627, and the demand for labor in the sugar plantations quickly led to an increase in the importation of slaves. Life for enslaved Africans in the British Caribbean was characterized by harsh working conditions, brutal punishments, and a high mortality rate. Many slaves sought to escape their bondage by forming maroon communities or participating in revolts, such as the Jamaican Maroon Wars and the Haitian Revolution. The influence of the African slave trade can still be seen in the Caribbean today, with many people of African descent living in the region. African cultural traditions have also left a lasting impact on the Caribbean, particularly in the areas of music, dance, and cuisine. Number 3, the Spanish Americas. The Spanish colonies in the Americas, which included present-day Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, and the Caribbean, imported approximately 1.5 million African slaves. The Spanish had established the first colony in the Americas in the late 15th century, and the demand for labor in their mines and plantations led to the importation of enslaved Africans. Enslaved Africans in the Spanish Americas worked in a variety of roles, including mining, agriculture, and domestic service. They often faced harsh working conditions, and many attempted to escape or resist their enslavement through revolts and the formation of maroon communities. The legacy of the African slave trade in the Spanish Americas can still be seen today in the region's diverse population and rich cultural heritage, which includes elements of African music, dance, and religion. Number 4, the French Caribbean colonies. The French Caribbean colonies, including Saint-Domingue, present-day Haiti, Guadeloupe, and Martinique, received around 1.2 million African slaves during the transatlantic slave trade. The French began establishing colonies in the Caribbean in the 17th century with a focus on the production of sugar, coffee, and indigo. The labor-intensive nature of these industries led to a high demand for enslaved Africans. Life for slaves in the French Caribbean was brutal, with long hours, harsh working conditions, and severe punishments. Many slaves attempted to resist their enslavement through revolts, such as the Haitian Revolution, which ultimately led to the establishment of the first independent Black Republic, Haiti, in 1804. The influence of the African slave trade in the French Caribbean can still be seen today in the region's demographics and cultural heritage. Elements of African culture have been woven into the fabric of Caribbean societies, particularly in the areas of music, dance, and religion. Number 5, the United States. The British North American colonies, which later became the United States, imported approximately 400,000 African slaves, primarily to the southern colonies. These colonies relied heavily on the labor of enslaved Africans to produce crops such as tobacco, rice, and cotton. The treatment of slaves in the United States varied by region, but it was generally characterized by brutality, forced labor, and the dehumanization of enslaved individuals. Many slaves sought to resist their bondage through escapes, revolts, and the formation of maroon communities. The legacy of the African slave trade in the United States is still felt today, particularly in the country's racial and social dynamics. The African American community has made significant contributions to American culture, particularly in the areas of music, literature, and civil rights activism. In conclusion, the transatlantic slave trade was a tragic and inhumane.
But yeah, I had wanted to bring this video out to show that just like the Bible said, we will be scattered amongst all nations, so y'all can see that the Bible is a true book. It wasn't just here. We were scattered amongst the nations. Like I said, we were scattered amongst the nations, not just here. We're going to get that Deuteronomy 28 and verse 50. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 50.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 50, and it reads, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
So these people that had us in captivity was a nation of fierce countenance that was not going to show a favor toward no different between the old or the young. You know, a evil nation of people. Let's get this other video, that second video.
Here are 5 things you didn't know about black children during slavery. Number 1, black children were fed like pigs. Because there were often many babies to be fed, they were fed out of troughs. Children fed like pigs out of troughs and being supplied sparingly invariably fight and quarrel with one another over their meals. Their food often lacked nutritional value and led to malnutrition. Number 2, even children's games were oppressive. In the common game hide and switch, one child would hide a switch, which is a branch cut from a tree commonly used for whippings. And whoever found it first would then chase the others in an attempt to whip them.
You know what's crazy about that? We the only
What?
folks that'll grow up and have stories about getting whooped with a switch. We the only people that'll grow up bragging about how granddad or grandma used to put that switch on. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and make you go find your own switch and get beat with.
Damn.
Number 3, children were often forced to have sex. The more enslaved people an owner had, the wealthier he was. Therefore, children were often forced to have sex in order to procreate.
Wow.
They were also used as sex slaves. Childbearing started around the age of 13, and by 20, the women slaves would be expected to have 4 or 5 children. Number
4 or 5 children.
At age 20.
Wow.
So you put 5 at 36 months. If you got 45 months.
That's
To
crazy,
make,
man.
and you were by 20, you'd have been pregnant. What it is, like 3.5 years or something like that. Close to that by that time you 20.
Wow.
Number 4, ages at which children were required to work varied. Almost half of the interviewees in the slave narrative collection recalled being put to work before the age of 7. Boys and girls were required to take water to the fields, tend to the animals, and care for younger children, among other duties. Number 5, high death rates. Children who were born into slavery were exposed to many traumas. This led to high infant child mortality rates at almost twice the rate of their white counterparts. Thank you for watching.
Hey, let's get pull up Hosea what is it? Hosea 4 and 6.
All right. The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. And it reads, My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou
Go ahead, my
Go
bad.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children.
Right. I wanted to bring that out because he said, My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And I just thought about that after watching those first couple of videos. And a lot of us already know what we saw in those videos. And we still allow ourselves to deal with these people and want to marry them. Not going off topic, but I just thought about that. We are destroyed. There's no way we should want to be with them when we know for a fact how they treated us. But I just wanted to go off topic for a second. But I just was showing how we were captured, bringing the scripture to life, uh, showing that what the Most High said would happen actually happened. Letting y'all know that the Bible is a true book. We were captured and enslaved because of disobedience, because we couldn't keep the covenant. And then once we were captured, they began to deactivate us. You know, what we once knew, they started uh, abstracting that out of us, putting what they wanted us to know and how they wanted to act into us.
Right.
You know, so let's get the book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 15.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 13. And it
Verse
reads,
15. Verse 15.
okay. Verse 15. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Lord God shall slay thee and call his servants by another name.
You see that? It says, and you shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. We left our name when we came over here, and they began the deactivation process. Taking your name, your God-given name from you and giving you their name, telling you what you will now be called. You know, they didn't tell you that you was an Israelite. They brought you over here and told you you was an African or a nigger. And that what we
Yeah.
begin that what we began to call ourselves, or told us we was a African American. We ain't have no problem with that. After so many, I guess, generations, they forgot who they were. We just beginning to wake up to who we really are.
Right.
Let's go back to bring that Deuteronomy 28:64 out again.
All right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And it reads, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
You see that? They got us serving all the gods that we didn't know. It said even wood and stone. Even wood and stone. We know that we're not supposed to worship an image. You know, we knew that. But let's get Exodus 20 and 4 right fast.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 4. And it reads, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of thy fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
That's it. I just wanted to show that we're not supposed to be worshiping or bowing down to these graven images. You know, we thinking that when it said the wood and stone, we know what that wood is talking about, that cross. And we thinking since Yahweh Shai was crucified on the cross, we thinking that it's okay for us to be bowing down to that image. That's why I said even wood and stone. You know, we once knew that, but once we got over here being deactivated, now we're doing something totally different than what we once did.
Right?
You got that out that clip I gave you out the book.
Yeah.
Let's bring that up right fast.
All right. This is the book A Message to the Forgotten Israelites by Alicia J. Israel.
Mm-hmm. Let's
All
get
right.
that second one.
All right.
You can
This is
read that.
page 8. It says the Suez Canal has extracted Middle Eastern countries from the African continent, among them the nation of Israel. This land separation, along with a mental separation, inspired by erroneous terms such as Middle East, has altered the way most individuals view not only countries such as Egypt, but Israel as well. Consequently, when one thinks of the Middle East, the fact that these lands were originally inhabited by peoples of African descent does not enter into the mind. Furthermore, when the seed of racism was added to the misleading view of Africa, the absurd notion that the original Egyptian were not Black Africans was born. Excuse me.
Appreciate that. But you see how they like they said, they built the Suez Canal to separate that land. Separate the land and then start calling it Middle East. You know, that word Middle East, that's a new term. It wasn't always called the Middle East.
Right.
All that was considered to be on the content of Africa. And that's him going into his crafty counsel. You know, let's get Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3. Cause like you said, he done built the Suez Canal and called that land over there now the Middle East. Let's get Psalm 58 and 53.
58 and 3.
58 and 3, yes, sir.
All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
That's why he think to create that Suez Canal to divide that land to try to trick us, thinking that we would never catch on to his trickery.
Right.
Bring out the Job chapter hold up, cause it said the wicked come out of the womb speaking lies. So we're gonna find out who the wicked is to show you who the wicked is, let you know who it's talking about. Let's get Job 9 and 24.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. And it reads, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
It said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And we all know what group of people basically run the whole earth. It's only one group of people who got influence over the whole world, in all parts of the world. And that's Esau. So it let us know that Esau is the wicked. Esau is the one who came up, who thought to divide that land with the Suez Canal to keep us keep, I guess, facts hidden from us, to try to keep facts hidden, but it's gonna come out. But like I said, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, and that's who it's talking about.
Let me get a precept, go with you, King.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go to the book of Malachi, chapter 1, right quick. Book of Malachi, chapter 1. And I'm going to start at verse 4.
Okay.
It reads, whereas Edom, who is Esau, saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. The border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So it's letting you know right there that Esau, Edom, Idumea, the Lord has an indignation against them forever. But he also said that they will be known, or they shall call them the border of wickedness. So they are the most wicked. And they are the ones that the brother was speaking about, that Job was talking about in chapter 9, verse 24, that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. These are the same ones that the Lord is talking about in the book of Malachi. But it's on you, though, King.
Right, and also, like you just read, it said the border. The border is the beginning. If you're on the border of the state, you at the beginning of the state. So he's
Talking about like
talking,
when you can go by that streets or the sign and say, "Welcome to Alabama."
right, you at the beginning of the state. It said they the border of wickedness, meaning they are the beginning. Wickedness started with them.
That's right.
It started with them. But let's go to we still speaking going into the deactivation, how they deactivated us. Let's go to Psalms chapter 83, verse 1 through 4.
All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. And it reads, "Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a people, or from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance."
See that it said that the name of Israel will be no more in remembrance. That's trying to deactivate you. They trying to take you, stop you from being who you are, and turn you to a whole group of another group of people. So that's his main objective, is to deactivate you. Why? 'Cause if he deactivates you, you no longer have the power. If you deactivate it, you ain't keeping the commandment, and you don't have protection no more. In order to stop your protection from that the Most High would provide for you, you had to be deactivated. If you ain't deactivated, they can't touch you. When you deactivate, they got free will to do what they want to do with no consequences almost. But from there, let's go to Genesis. Well, let's get that other video about the rainbow first.
All right.
It's not uncommon today to see a rainbow flag flying with pride on a house or business. But have you ever wondered when and why it became a symbol for the LGBTQ plus community? Let's find out on today's episode of
Colossal Question.
The rainbow flag dates all the way back to the 1970s. 1978 to be exact. That was the year that a group of artists, designers, activists, performers, and locals designed the very first version of the gay pride flag. This ragtag group of flag makers brought the idea to a famous gay icon and politician named Harvey Milk, who liked the idea.
His name Harvey Milk. Oh, man. Harvey Milk.
Harvey Milk.
Wow.
And got the project. They wanted to create a flag that could fly over the Pride Parade in their home city of San Francisco. The team quickly landed on a rainbow design because rainbows are natural, colorful, and beautiful. The collection of colors represent togetherness, since there are LGBTQ plus people from all races, religions, ages, genders, everywhere. The very first flag looked a bit different than the one we know today. It had 8 stripes instead of 6, with a pink at the top and turquoise between the green and blue stripes. When they took their design to get printed, it turned out that the printing company could only make flags in around 25 colors, and pink and turquoise weren't available. So the team made a few adjustments and came back with the 6-striped rainbow flag we know today. Each individual color has its own meaning. Red for life, orange for healing, yellow for sunlight, green for nature, blue for serenity, and purple for the spirit. The
You
bright,
stop it right there.
colorful new flag.
Now let's go see what that rainbow really supposed to be for. Let's get Genesis chapter 9, verse 13 through 15.
All right.
Now this is going to how they realigned us. We'll get that Genesis chapter 9, verse 13 through 15.
All right. The book of Genesis, chapter 9.
Mm-hmm. Verse 13 through 15.
All right. The book of Genesis, chapter 9, verse 13. I do set my bow or bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh.
Right. So that's it on it. That's what the rainbow supposed to represent. It don't supposed to represent nothing about no homosexuality and all that type of stuff. And folks, and the people who came up with that flag, they probably read what the brother just read, and still want to have a rainbow flag. Let's get Leviticus 18:22.
All right. The book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination.
You see that? So that's how they have been realigning us. All the stuff that we're not supposed to do, they're saying that it's okay to do. They say it's okay to do it, and if you speak against what the Bible says wrong, you can get punished for it at your job. If you famous or making money uh, in the entertainment world, they'll stop your money if you speak against this stuff. Another way they realigned us is with, like we know, the Sunday worship. Pull that image up for me, that next image. Because we knew to keep the Sabbath. We knew that. But when we came over here, they had us worshiping on Sunday. We know, I'm going to say there's nothing wrong with worshiping on Sunday. But the day that we must do it is on the Sabbath. Let's get that in Exodus 20, verse 8 through 11. Like I said, we were realigned from doing what we once did, and they just got us doing what they want us to do. Want us to go by their custom, and we had to stop doing our custom that we had and start following their custom.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Thank you, brother. So letting us know we supposed to keep that Sabbath day holy, separate, you know. And to this day, it's only a few of us that do it, compared to how many of us that's here. It's on a small amount, do that, but Lord will the rest of our people wake up and start tapping into this truth and start keeping the Sabbath day holy.
Let me get a precept, King.
Yes, sir.
This is the book of First Maccabees in the Apocrypha, chapter 1, verse 41. And this is going right into what the brother's speaking about, how we used to keep the Sabbath, but through us being captured and deactivated, hey, we started going against the things that we were supposed to be doing. But this is First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus, this is during the Greek captivity, wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, just like it is here in Babylon. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, just like it is today, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. See that? Let me keep reading on it though. It said, and the sanctuary and the holy people, to set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh, and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. See that? So that right there shows you how we became today, because they forced us to do these things, and if we did not keep the laws that they put in place, we would be put to death. You know, but the only thing what our people fail to realize is that the only way that these individuals are able to take control of us and even come into our land and tell us, "Hey, you got to keep these laws or die," was because we were not keeping the law.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on you.
Like brother said, we weren't keeping the laws, and when we not keeping the law, we ain't got no protection.
Right.
Right. Another way we realign is with us celebrating. They had us celebrating their holiday, they pagan holiday.
Mm-hmm.
We got our own holiday we celebrate, and we're not supposed to celebrate their pagan holiday. Let's get Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Why would you celebrate your enemy? Why would you want to celebrate your enemy's holidays? Wait, look at that Colossians 2, verse 8.
All right. The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8, and it reads, beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
I probably got the wrong scripture.
That's right.
Read it one more time.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men,
right.
After the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
Now let's get Malachi chapter 3, verse 6.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not, therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
He said, I am the Lord, I change not. That let you know what he said in Colossians 2 and 8, still in effect to this day. No matter how much time it went by, it's still in effect.
Right.
It don't matter if the world here 10, 15,000 more years, it's still gonna be in effect. Okay, now we're gonna go with these abominable foods what we eat. Well, we once did not eat, but now we eat it because why? We have been realigned. Let's get that pork video.
Consumer Reports is ringing alarm bells this morning over pork safety. A new study shows chops and ground pork may be full of bad bacteria. Jim Axelrod is here with the story. Jim, good morning.
Well, good morning, Nora. A whole host of foodborne illnesses is caused by these bacteria. We're talking about stomach aches, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, even in the most extreme cases, death. But Consumer Reports says bacteria are not the only thing pork eaters should be worried about. For years, pork has been promoted by the industry as a healthy food option, the other white meat.
Dinner's ready.
But a new report suggests otherwise.
We found potentially harmful bacteria on most of the samples of pork that we tested. One organism we looked at, Enterococcus, is more a measure of filth indication, maybe fecal contamination.
Of nearly 200 pork samples tested by Consumer Reports, many tested positive for salmonella, listeria, staph bacteria. The magazine says a whopping 69% contained Yersinia, which infect nearly 100,000 Americans every year. Children are especially vulnerable.
You always expect to find some bacteria in any meat product, but those are usually harmless. And I think the real surprise here was to find so many potentially disease-causing bacteria.
Even more, 90% of the bacteria Consumer Reports found were said to be resistant to antibiotics. In other words, they were superbugs.
All of those things paint a very concerning picture about this indiscriminate use of antibiotics in meat production in this country and what we believe are the resulting consequences of that.
Consumer Reports was also alarmed by traces of ractopamine in 1/5 of the pork they tested. Farmers use the drug on their hogs to produce leaner cuts of meat. It was originally developed to treat asthma, but never approved for human use. Scott Hurd, a former top food safety official at
Never used for human consumption, but you can give it to the pig that they're going to serve the people.
the USDA, who has done consulting work for the pork industry, says Consumer Reports is, quote, inflamed and used a small amount of data to frighten people. And he says the meat is safe.
The average person would have to eat over 700 pounds of pork every day for their entire life in order to get enough ractopamine to be above that acceptable level by FDA.
Man, you can't trust them, man. How the hell?
Oh, yeah. What you say, bro?
I'm just saying, you can't believe Esau, man. The brother just brought it out in Psalm 58:3. As soon as they come out the womb, they start lying.
Right.
It don't matter because you sit in front of a big computer screen or a small one, or you got a white lab coat on, or you got a degree on the wall. You can't trust them, man.
Right.
And that's one of the things that they have used to realign us. Right. By us being whipped to death, beaten to the point of submission where we believe everything that they say. We believe them to be God-like, on a godly status. You know, we believe everything that they say because they put on these so-called sharp suits. They shave their beards off. They mousse their hair, put on lab coats. You know, we believe them to be smart, to be on a God level, so to speak. We believe everything that come out their mouth, but the Bible say everything come out their mouth is a damn lie. So when we're talking about you got to eat 700 pounds of pork in order to get this bacteria that they're talking about. The Lord said don't eat it at all.
Right. I'm going to bring it out. It's Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7. And it reads, and the swine, though he devour the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Verse 8, their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. So, like the brother was saying, he lying, and regardless of what he say, we're not supposed to eat it, period.
Right.
That way you ain't got to worry about what he just was talking about in that video.
And that goes.
You got it.
No, I'm just saying that goes back into that crafty counsel that the brother brought out earlier. How they would get on TV and use their media to confuse us and tell us large astronomical numbers, saying you got to eat 700 pounds of this in order to get this disease. So the average brother or sister watching that, well, I don't eat that much, so I'm gonna just keep eating it. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, the scriptures tell you, do not eat it, period. Ain't a quarter amount of it, an inch, a foot of it, a pound, a half a pound. You ain't supposed to eat none of it. And what it say right here, Leviticus 11:8, of their flesh shall ye not eat. As an Israelite, man, woman, and child, we are not supposed to eat it. Not 1 gram, not 1 pound, not 700 pounds. None of it. They are unclean to you. But it's hard as hell trying to get our people to see that today. They think it's all good because they ain't croaked over and died. You know. But it's on you though, King.
It's up. Appreciate that, brother. But yeah, and again, that's the realignment what they put on us, because we knew not to eat pork before we got captured. And then once we got captured, that's what they were feeding us. And we became accustomed to it. The first time they probably gave it to us, we probably looked at it and was like, what the hell is that? I'm not going to eat that. But eventually they started eating it, I guess, or started them. But now we look at it like we can't put it down.
All right.
You know? Yeah, one more. We're going to go into another way that they realigned us is with the drugs and drug usage. You know, that's something we didn't do. Once we came over here in other parts of the world, they gave it to us and we ran with it, putting it in our neighborhood, and we ran with it, started giving it to each other, selling it to each other, you know, destroying our temple. Let's get the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 through 20.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 19. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not of your own?
See that? Your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own. Meaning you don't belong to yourself. You belong to someone else. You belong to the Creator. Read 20.
But ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify Yahweh in your body and in your spirit, which is Yahweh's.
Right. So we supposed to glorify the Most High in our body. We don't supposed to destroy our body with these drugs with the enemy give us. Anything that they give us that's gonna break our temple down. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17. And it reads, if any man defile the temple of God, him shall Yahweh destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are.
Right. So next time you think about smoking some dope, some weed, eating some pork, that's all you're doing is defile your temple. And it says, if any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. You don't want to be destroyed by your house. So we have to remember these things, how to try to do better. We can't let these people win, having us doing everything that's contrary to what the Lord say do. I know that, like I said, we've been caught, we've been deactivated, and we've been realigned. But us waking up to the truth, like I said, our job, the brothers who y'all see out on the street teaching, our job is to recapture y'all, deactivate y'all, and realign y'all again to get y'all back on the right path. So that's gonna be all I got on this class for tonight. But I'm gonna do a part 2 to this class. It will have the same title: Capture, Deactivate, Realign. But it'll be going into what the brothers of Israel will be trying to do to the people of Israel who are not in the truth, who don't know about the truth. We will be trying to capture, deactivate y'all from what y'all have learned, and realign you. And I will be going over doing a second class on that, on how we should go about doing that, and what the mission is on doing that. But that's all I have for tonight. And sorry for the beginning of the class when it was sounding choppy, but that's all I have for tonight. Hope y'all got something out the class. You want to bring something out, brother?
Nah, you got it.
Okay. Well, I hope y'all got something out the class, and I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks with the part 2 of this class. But I am Brother Ezekiel of A.O.I.
Brother Ananias. And on
And
that
we
note, we appreciate everybody tuning in. We want to give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Ask any questions that you have in the comment section. Share this content. And subscribe if you haven't already done so. Stay dialed in, Israel. We all we got. You got to trust in the Lord day in and day out. So never forget who you are and what the mission is. Stay focused, because your enemy is always dialed in and keep you under his foot or under his knee. So remember, we got to continuously fight day in and day out for the kingdom, for our people, for the Lord. But on that note, we say shalom, shalom, peace and grease to you all, and we out.